Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and I'm going to do a short video on a very inexpensive, well, minus the pen. The pen is not inexpensive, but a very inexpensive light and tool combination that I carry quite often. This is the oLight the i2 EOS, and it is a single AA flashlight. There's a single AA battery flashlight, and it runs an XPG emitter. It has a bolt-on pocket clip, and it has a very simple twist and then twist again interface. And then next to it is something that you almost certainly will recognize, and it is the Swiss Army knife Alox Cadet. And this is a knife that I use all the time. It does all different kinds of things, and it is really, really thin. I mean, it's thin, it's slim, it has a nice shape to it. The Alox handle scales are nice and durable, and it has a pretty good complement of tools in there, despite the fact that it is very, very, very thin. And so this entire these two things together, the entire light and tool combination, come in at less than $50. And if you're going to spend $50 and you want to start EDCing good stuff, this is what I would recommend. The light is not the world's greatest light, but it does a lot of things very, very well. For example, it tail stands nice and easy. Second, it has a nice anti-roll pocket clip. And the high, while not super bright, it comes on in low, just like it should. Medium. And so low, let's see if I can do this again. Low, medium, high. There we go. And so it has a very good high. It's about 75 lumens. And I think that's 75 lumens out the front. And then the low is right around 8 lumens. It'll last a good bit of time. I think it's about an hour on the high mode and much longer on the low. It's not really all that flashy, but again, it does a lot of basic things very well. Things that you would think much more expensive lights do, and this one just does it. The one drawback is I don't really like the twist again interface. As you can see, it's not the most intuitive thing in the world. But when you're paying $20 for a light, you have to make some sacrifices, and that's a sacrifice I'm probably willing to make, given how nice the form factor is. The bolt-on clip is a huge, huge upgrade from the friction clips. Those clips are terrible. All of them are universally awful, and this one is much, much better. One thing that I would note is that they have a newer model, I think it's a newer model out, and it has a friction fit clip. So be sure if you're tracking this down to get the one with the bolt-on clip. You will be much, much happier over the life of this flashlight with the bolt-on clip. The bolt-on clip works really well, so go for this one. Even if the lumens increases, 25 lumens, I'd still rather have the bolt-on clip. The Alox Cadet is probably one of the best designed tools on the market. It is, like I said, it's very thin and has Alox handles, but it has a bunch of really nice tool features. So I don't really like can openers. I have very little use for a can opener. But one thing it does have is it has this small, and it actually is a very good flathead driver. I like that a lot. So I use that much more often as the flathead driver than as anything else. On this side, it has a larger flathead driver there, and then it has a bottle opener there. The bottle opener, unlike a lot of bottle openers, is a really, really good bottle opener. In theory, this is a wire stripper. I don't think I have no use for that, but at least it's there. It doesn't take up any room. And that's one of the things about the Swiss Army knife tools, is that the tool implements themselves, the little blades, they're really well designed, and they'll cram in a couple of tools there in ways that don't make the thing any heavier or any harder to use. And so when it's something like that, or it's just that notch, why not put it in there? I mean, somebody might use it someday. Again, the flathead driver here is actually quite good. This locks in 2 positions. It doesn't lock, but it sticks in 2 positions. This is a slip joint design. As you can see, there's the back spring popping up. So it'll hit there, and then it'll hit there. So if you need to, you can use it like that. It's very handy. The next implement is this, which is a 2D bit driver. a 2D Phillips driver, and it works quite well. And you can see I have a little bit of wear on the tip. It's very good. Here's a file. I actually use the file a lot to like just take down little edges on woodworking projects, on my son's toys, things like that. And oftentimes I just use this as a poke, something to poke into. Like if I want to cut open tape in a package that has something, you know, like clothing inside where I don't want to cut it or rip it, I'll use this to poke it open. And there's really no way that this would cut, you know, a piece of clothing, but it's certainly enough to poke through tape. And then the last thing is the classic blade. The Swiss Army knife blades are really, really great shapes. I know that they don't have the best steel in the world, but the steel is really, really stain resistant, and I think that's probably, you know, if you're going to go soft, go really soft and get this much stain resistance, because, man, this stuff just, I know people that put their Swiss Army knives through the dishwasher and they're fine. It's really, really quite good. Notice here, this has a ricasso, it has a choil, like a real choil, not a finger choil, but a choil that allows you to sharpen the blade all the way down to the edge, unlike, say, you know, multi-$100 Spydercos. And then, again, it does not lock in two positions, or stop in two positions, it stops in one position, but there's a back spring, and then finally it has a little lanyard attachment. Both of these came with split rings, but I took them off because I found that they made things awkward. If you're going to carry them on a keychain, which you would probably do, then you'd probably put them back on. But as it is right now, this is a pretty darn good kit for under $50. And today I'm also carrying this. This is the Prometheus Alpha Pen, and it is not inexpensive. This is the electroplated version. But it is a great pen. It lets you do just about everything you need to do with a pen. It uses the Mont Blanc inserts, and so you can get the fine liner inserts, and I love the fine liner inserts. They are really, really, really good. They do, I guess I would say that they're probably about 80% the writing performance of a fountain pen, with about 80% of the durability of the Fisher Space Pen. And so right now they're my favorite writing thing. If I'm going to do a lot of note taking, I'll use a fountain pen because they're so much easier to use. They use less pressure from your hand. But if I'm not doing note taking, or if I'm doing things that need me to pass the pen from one person to the other, I'd much rather have the fine liner than a fountain pen. It's almost impossible to screw these things up. Whereas the fountain pen, people mess up the nibs all the time. This is not an inexpensive thing. It doesn't really go with these other two guys in the sense that they're all budget items. But this is just what I happen to be carrying today, and I thought I'd give the pen a little airtime. So